It was America's most beloved sitcom. The laughter, the love, and of course Lucy. But what really happened behind the scenes of I Love Lucy? Why did some actors suddenly vanish from the show with no explanation? And what dark truths were kept hidden from the smiling audience at home? Before we dive in, we have a quick question for you. Do you think the I Love Lucy cast got along in real life? Type 1 for yes or 0 for absolutely not. What you're about to hear might change your answer. I Love Lucy was a popular American comedy that ran from 1951 to 1957. The program follows the lives of Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, a young couple living in New York City. Lucy, a naive and ambitious housewife, regularly fantasizes about making it big in the show industry, frequently including her husband in her bizarre plans. Ricky, a Cuban-American bandleader, is sometimes irritated by Lucy's pranks, yet adores her deeply. Fred and Ethel Mertz, their closest friends and landlords, are former vaudeville performers who add to the hilarious pandemonium. Lucy's character is recognized for her comic timing, physical comedy, and insatiable desire for recognition. Despite her lack of skill, she is desperate to be in the spotlight, which leads to comedic situations and misunderstandings. Ricky, on the other hand, is the voice of reason, constantly attempting to keep Lucy's goals in control. His Cuban origin adds another element to the program, and his occasional Spanish outbursts have become a recurring humor. Fred and Ethel Mertz offer a humorous counterpoint to the Ricardos. Fred is a grouchy, penny-pinching landlord, and Ethel is his supporting, slightly more adventurous wife. Their interactions with Lucy and Ricky frequently result in funny misunderstandings and disagreements, contributing to the show's general appeal. The show's location in a New York City apartment building heightens the characters' authenticity and relatability. The introduction of young Ricky in the second season deepens the family dynamic, giving a new depth to the show's comedy and touching moments. The program was a huge hit, being the most viewed show in the United States for 4 of its 6 seasons. After the original series ended, it was renamed The Lucille Arnaz Show, which then became the Desi Comedy Hour. This version of the show aired for 3 further seasons from 1957 to 1960 and included hour-long specials rather than half-hour episodes. I Love Lucy is regarded as a watershed moment in television history, and its humor heart and ageless characters continue to captivate people today. It has had an indisputable effect on popular culture, and it continues to provide generations of fans with laughter and enjoyment. I Love Lucy was a huge success, becoming the most viewed show in the United States for 4 of its 6 seasons. It created history as the first show to finish at the top of the Nielsen ratings, cementing its status as a television sensation. The show's popularity has spread across time and countries. I Love Lucy episodes have been syndicated in a variety of languages throughout the world since 2011. The event reaches a global audience with an incredible 40 million viewers in the United States alone each year, demonstrating its ongoing appeal. Even decades after its first run, I Love Lucy continues to captivate fans' hearts. A colorized version of the Christmas program broadcast in 2013, more than 60 years after the show's debut, and received an incredible 8 million viewers. This exemplifies the show's ageless comedy and viewers' ongoing devotion for Lucy, Ricky, Fred, and Ethel. I Love Lucy was the first written show shot on 35mm film in front of a live studio audience, a method pioneered by cinematographer Carl Freund, and it transformed television production. This novel technique, along with a great ensemble cast, contributed to the show's enormous success and long-lasting influence. 5 Emmy wins as well as countless nominations and prizes demonstrate the show's success. Its effect on the television business is indisputable, and it is frequently cited as one of the most influential shows of all time. In fact, in a 2012 survey conducted by ABC News and People magazine, I Love Lucy was chosen the finest TV program of all time, cementing its legendary position. The Writers Guild of America also acknowledged the show's great writing, placing it 12th on its list of the 101 Best Written TV Series of 2013. This award recognizes the show's brilliant storylines, distinctive characters, and timeless comedy which continue to resonate with fans today. William Frawley, who played Fred Mertz, was a major contributor to the show's popularity. Frawley, born in 1887, began his career in entertainment on the vaudeville circuit, where he performed as part of a humorous pair with his wife. This union lasted until their divorce, following which Frawley pursued his career in a variety of jobs. His 3-decade career on Broadway and in other films demonstrated his passion for his trade. By the time he played Fred Mertz, he was in his 60s. This age aspect had a huge impact on his ultimate departure from the show. Throughout the filming of I Love Lucy, Frawley's health remained a persistent concern. Frawley, known for his excessive drinking, frequently suffered from health problems that hampered his performance and dependability on set. His drinking issue was widely known to the cast and crew, resulting in numerous interruptions. He would occasionally arrive on set inebriated or with a hangover, causing delays in production and added stress for everyone involved. His erratic conduct due to drinking not only disrupted the manufacturing schedule, but also harmed his relationships with co-workers. The network executives and producers were aware of Frawley's drinking problem and worsening health, which raised concerns about his future on the show. Despite his brilliance and critical praise for his depiction of Fred Mertz, he had serious off-screen troubles that could not be ignored. Producers had to continuously balance the danger of keeping him on the program with the possible disruptions his conduct may bring. Frawley's strained relationship with Vivian Vance, who played his on-screen wife Ethel Mertz, played a big role in his departure. The two performers had a well-documented animosity toward one another, which began early in the series' existence. Vance, who was much younger than Frawley, disliked being coupled with someone she thought was old enough to be her father. Frawley took offense when he overheard Vance voice her discomfort with their age gap. This encounter established the tone for their off-screen relationships, which were characterized by continual tension and mutual disapproval. Their personal hostility carried over into their working life, making it impossible for them to collaborate peacefully. Despite their on-screen connection, their off-screen relationship was riddled with disagreements. Frawley and Vance rarely spoke to one another outside of their scenes and kept a professional distance. This difficult relationship influenced the whole mood on set, resulting in a work environment for the actors and crew. When I Love Lucy ended in 1957, it was replaced with a new format known as the Lucille Desi Arnaz show, eventually renamed the Lucy-Desi Comedy Hour. This format comprised hour-long programs and lasted 3 more seasons. Frawley was not included in this new format due to his age and health difficulties, as well as the producers' wish to limit potential interruptions. His health had continued to deteriorate and his drinking habit showed no signs of abating. The producers were apprehensive about his ability to manage the tight schedule of hour-long programs. Frawley's exit from the program was also affected by shifting dynamics within the production crew. The show's performers and creators Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were going through a difficult time in their personal lives, culminating in their divorce in 1960. This personal upheaval had a profound influence on the show's production and casting selections. With the termination of their marriage, the emphasis moved to producing a more stable working environment, with Frawley's erratic conduct viewed as a liability. Despite his departure from I Love, Lucy Frawley's career did not end abruptly. He gained fame on another television sitcom, My 3 Sons, where he portrayed Bub O'Casey. Despite his new position, Frawley was frequently identified as Fred Mertz by I Love Lucy fans. His link with Fred Mertz remained strong, and he was identified with the character for the remainder of his career. Now, let's discuss Vivian Vance's exit from the program. Her departure from The Lucy Show signaled a watershed moment in the series. Vance originally remained a significant cast member on the program, which was a spin-off of the legendary I Love Lucy. He played Lucy's closest friend and sidekick. However, after 3 seasons, Vance chose to depart the program, leaving many fans to wonder why. There's been much conjecture regarding the reasons behind her leaving. Some speculate that it was due to artistic disagreements with Vance wanting greater control over her character and plot. Others believe that financial differences or a troubled relationship with Lucille Ball played a role. Regardless of the particular reasons, Vance's absence was palpable. Many fans think that following her departure, the program suffered in terms of creativity, losing some of the enchantment that she and Ball had created on screen. The show's dynamic evolved as it moved away from the Lucy-Viv relationship and toward Lucy's relationships with other characters, notably Mr. Mooney. It might be said that the Lucy show evolved into two distinct shows, the Vivian Vance period, which had the two actresses' familiar connection and humorous timing, and the Mr. Mooney era, which brought a new dynamic but lacked the same spark. Episode 84. Lucy and the Disc Jockey was a watershed moment in the Lucy show's history. It was the final episode broadcast in its original format with Vivian Vance as a key cast member. Vance had planned to leave the program unless she was given greater creative freedom, which Lucille Ball's advisors viewed as a threat to Ball's position as the show's driving force. Despite the fact that the program was named for her, Lucille Ball finally declined to satisfy Vance's demands, resulting in Vance's resignation. Ball would eventually come to regret her decision as she pondered abandoning the program without her trusty co-star. External influences are said to have affected the parting of these two comedy titans. Lucille Ball was reportedly misled by consultants who portrayed Vance's quest for greater creative freedom as an endeavor to become Ball's equal. This misunderstanding caused a rift in their relationship, with Ball feeling misled and saddened by Vance's imagined aspirations. An unnamed insider said that Ball was extremely impacted by the scenario, expressing her uncertainty and anguish at Vance's wish to boost her standing on the program. Ball, purportedly persuaded by consultants, misread Vance's request for increased creative authority and financial reward as a power grab. This left Ball feeling betrayed and heartbroken. In truth, Vance's goals were much less malevolent. She merely wanted to be adequately compensated for her work and have more say in her character's evolution. The regular travel between her home in Connecticut and the set in Los Angeles was taking a toll on both her personal and professional life. Unfortunately, the two women never addressed their concerns. Instead, talks were handled by agents and executives, which resulted in a breakdown in communication and, ultimately, Vance's resignation. If they had discussed it honestly, they might have been able to reach an agreement that would have enabled Vance to remain on the program. Despite the circumstances surrounding her departure, Vance and Ball remained friends and even appeared on screen together on multiple occasions in succeeding seasons of The Lucy Show. Their on-screen connection was evident, demonstrating that their relationship and professional respect remained intact despite the momentary setback. Vivian Vance's unexpected exit from The Lucy Show created a hole that was difficult to fill. While the program proceeded to introduce new characters and stories, the loss of Lucy and Viv's distinct connection was palpable. The decision to manage the subject through agents and executives rather than direct communication may have aggravated the problem and hampered any potential settlement. It's fascinating to consider how things could have ended out differently if Ball and Vance had freely discussed their worries. Perhaps they might have reached an agreement that accommodated Vance's need for more creative participation and financial reward while still meeting her personal requirements. Such a closure may have potentially salvaged the program from the creative downturn that some fans believe occurred after Vance's departure. Let us now discuss another crucial character from the program. Desi Arnaz, born. Desiderio Alberto Arnaz, Ideacha III, on March 2, 1917, in Santiago de Cuba, immigrated to the United States in the early 1930s when his family escaped the Cuban Revolution. His early career in the show industry started as a musician. He rose to prominence with his band, the Desi Arnaz Orchestra, which became known for its Latin music. This breakthrough in music paved the way for his future career in television. Arnaz got his big break in acting when he was cast in the Broadway production of Too Many Girls in 1939. During this production, he met Lucille Ball, who was also in the cast. They fell in love and got married in 1940. Their marriage was a mix of love and turbulence, highlighted by Arnaz's infidelity and alcoholism, which would eventually have an influence on his professional life. Ball's own radio program, My Favorite Husband, served as a prelude to I Love Lucy. As the program moved to television, Ball asked that Arnaz portray her on-screen spouse. Network officials were originally skeptical because of Arnaz's loud Cuban accent and stature as a band leader, worrying it would not appeal to American audiences. However, Ball and Arnaz persuaded CBS by doing a vaudeville performance together, demonstrating their natural chemistry and humorous timing. This led to Arnaz's casting as Ricky Ricardo in I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy aired on October 15, 1951, and instantly became a huge hit. Arnaz's role as Ricky Ricardo, a Cuban-American band leader, reflected his real-life demeanor. He provided authenticity to the part by incorporating his musical talent and cultural heritage into it. Arnaz's comic abilities and on-screen connection with Ball were crucial to the show's success. As a producer, Arnaz was creative. He and Ball co-founded Desi Productions, which pioneered the use of 3 cameras and live crowd shooting, both of which have now become industry norms. Arnaz's economic skill was critical in obtaining ownership rights for the program, which allowed Desi Productions to keep the lucrative repeat rights. This decision was financially advantageous and established a precedent in the television business. Arnaz's performance in I Love Lucy gained him critical praise. Although he never won an Emmy for acting, the success of the program and his services as a producer earned him multiple nominations. During its original run, I Love Lucy received 5 Emmy Awards, including Best Comedy Show, and Arnaz was praised for her involvement in the production. Despite his professional accomplishments, Arnaz's personal life was turbulent. His marriage to Ball was fraught with disputes which were compounded by his infidelity and drinking issues. These concerns frequently spilled over into their professional life, causing conflict on set. The couple's turbulent relationship was well known in Hollywood, and their personal troubles became the subject of tabloid speculation. Arnaz's infidelity was a major cause of stress. Despite his love for Ball, his frequent indiscretions set up a cycle of betrayal and forgiveness that eventually wore down their marriage. Ball, who passionately loved Arnaz, battled with his conduct, resulting in frequent emotional outbursts. Their off-screen conflict contrasted strongly with the loving couple they played on television. In addition to his marital problems, Arnaz's drinking habit increased with time. His drunkenness harmed his health and conduct, making him more difficult to deal with. His bouts of heavy drinking frequently resulted in unpredictable conduct on the set, adding to the rising tension between him and Ball. Despite efforts to manage his drinking, it remained a constant problem in both his personal and professional life. Arnaz and Ball found it difficult to preserve both their marriage and the program over time. The responsibilities of running Desi Productions, along with their tight filming schedules, exacerbated the stress. Despite their best attempts to keep their personal difficulties apart from their work commitments, fractures in their partnership began to emerge. By the time I Love Lucy ended in 1957, Arnaz and Ball's marriage was on the verge of breaking up. They tried to recover their relationship by switching to the Lucy Desi Comedy Hour, which aired from 1957 until 1960. However, the increased workload and continuous personal concerns aggravated their situation. The couple's attempts to maintain a veneer of unity for the sake of their work obligations became more challenging. In 1960, Arnaz and Ball decided to discontinue their professional and personal relationship. They filed for divorce, claiming irreconcilable differences. Arnaz's life changed dramatically once their marriage ended. The personal and professional stresses that had built up over the years eventually led to their separation. Following the divorce, Ball purchased Arnaz's portion in Desi Productions, becoming the sole owner. Arnaz's exit from the firm he co-founded signaled the end of an era. Desi Productions thrived under Ball's supervision, creating hit series such as Star Trek and Mission Impossible. Meanwhile, Arnaz retreated from the spotlight, working on other projects and seeking to rehabilitate his personal life. Despite their divorce, Arnaz and Ball maintained a good connection. They had a mutual respect and affection that lasted throughout their turbulent history. Arnaz continued to work in the entertainment sector, but he never had the same amount of popularity as with I Love Lucy. His post-I Love Lucy career featured guest appearances on television shows and modest roles in films, but nothing compared to the impact of his work on the classic comedy. Arnaz's contributions to television went beyond his part in I Love Lucy. His advances in production methods and commercial acumen influenced the television industry. The three-camera system and live crowd recording became the norm, inspiring many sitcoms that followed. Arnaz's reputation as a pioneer in television production is well recognized. In the years after leaving I Love Lucy, Arnaz has struggled with health concerns compounded by his drinking. Despite his efforts to control his drinking, it remained an ongoing issue. His health continued to deteriorate, and he experienced multiple health scares, including a stint with cancer. These difficulties hampered his capacity to work and reduced his quality of life. Arnaz's latter years were defined by a peaceful existence. He spent time with his family, which included his children, Lucy and Desi Arnaz Jr., from his marriage to Ball. Despite his rocky history, Arnaz remained a revered character among his followers who valued his contributions to television and his involvement in I Love Lucy. Desi Arnaz died suddenly on December 2, 1886, from lung cancer. His death signaled the end of an important era in television history. Arnaz's contributions to the entertainment business as an actor and producer have left an enduring legacy. He is recognized not just for his portrayal as Ricky Ricardo, but also for his groundbreaking efforts behind the scenes. Lucille Ball is next up. She may be most remembered for her role on I Love Lucy, but the star remained a primetime television actor for many years after the program ended. After I Love Lucy, Lucille appeared in The Lucy Show, which premiered in 1962. The show was succeeded by Here's Lucy later in the decade after The Lucy Show ceased. These three series gave Lucille a primetime television platform that enabled her to remain a celebrity for 2 decades, and her departure from Here's Lucy marked her definitive retirement from primetime television. There were several reasons why Lucille Ball was ready to call it quits after 6 seasons of Here's Lucy. Lucille had always been a workaholic, but even she had limitations. Lucille was practically exhausted after 2 decades of producing several weekly sitcoms and spending a significant amount of time operating Desi Productions. However, she also wanted to pursue other interests. Around the time she left Here's Lucy, she was preparing to promote the film Mame, in which she had appeared. Lucille hoped that the picture would help her get into the film industry, but it has only achieved cult status since its debut. By the time Lucille Ball left Here's Lucy, she had the longest tenure of any primetime television performer in history, lasting 2 decades. Other performers had been popular on television for many years, but none had lasted as long as Lucille. The actress could have continued going if she had wanted to, but she had become tired of her television days. However, it is difficult to dispute that Here's Lucy received worse ratings than any of Lucille's prior efforts. Despite her departure from Here's Lucy, Lucille Ball opted to continue her affiliation with the CBS network by participating in several specials. Lucille had considered leaving Here's Lucy for numerous years before making the final choice. The final episode of the show's 5th season was supposed to be its finale, but Lucille was persuaded to return for another. Despite the fact that Lucille had left Here's Lucy, she was determined about not retiring from work in general. Instead, the change just meant retiring from weekly television shows. Lucille continued to perform in a variety of roles and actively marketed her picture Mame. Lucille, who was approximately 60 years old when she waved farewell to primetime television, continued to work. After Here's Lucy ended appearing on television in a variety of roles before dying in 1989. While fresh episodes of Here's Lucy aired, I Love Lucy remained almost as popular as ever in syndication. Lucille co-created the program with husband Desi Arnaz in 1951, and it's difficult to argue that it remains both actors' most popular work. The show remains popular among the new audiences today, with a biography about the series' development featuring Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball in the works. I Love Lucy is acknowledged as being one of the first situational comedies on television, and it has had a significant impact in a variety of different areas. The sitcom was a passion project for its married performers who produced the series only to offer themselves leading roles. Lucille's following programs were progressively less successful than her and her ex-husband's debut show. By the time Here's Lucy ended, it was only ranked 12th in the ratings. Previously, the program peaked at 3rd in the ratings and remained in the top 10 for the first 4 years. Although the network did not require Lucille to terminate the show, the declining numbers probably did not inspire much confidence in the red-headed actress to continue. Despite her dropping ratings, CBS was deeply saddened to see Lucille go after Here's Lucy. Despite her agreement to continue her connection with the network by participating in several specials, it was badly strained. Lucille had been taping weekly broadcasts for the network for the previous 2 decades and could still attract a consistent audience even if it was shrinking. Just before beginning production on Here's Lucy, Lucille sold Desi Productions shares for $10 million. The actress had previously served as the production company's CEO after purchasing Desi's shares for $3 million following their divorce. Lucille demonstrated that she was capable of handling Desi Productions on her own. As CEO of the production firm, she oversaw the production of Mannix and Mission Impossible. 6 seasons of Here's Lucy were produced, totaling 144 episodes. Though the program isn't as successful as I Love Lucy, many Lucille Ball fans returned to it after becoming tired with Lucille's previous work. There is a lot to like in Here's Lucy, not the least of which is Lucille Ball's consistent performance as a humorous actor. Given that the performance was taped in front of a live studio audience, the musical pieces were rather elaborate. The sitcom followed Lucille Ball as a widow with 2 teenage children who were played by her real-life children from her previous marriage to Desi Arnaz. In the episode, Lucille's character obtains a job working for her ex-husband's brother. Lucille's demeanor is consistently wacky, whereas her new employer remains the straight guy throughout the series. While I Love Lucy predates the tradition of having prominent actors and actresses appear as guest stars on shows, the habit was well underway by the time of Here's Lucy. Both Here's Lucy and the predecessor, The Lucy Show, made full use of Lucille's business connections to recruit an amazing roster of guest performers during their broadcasts. Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor were among the most spectacular guest stars, with their episode of Here's Lucy receiving the highest ratings. Another significant guest star was Lucille's old friend Jack Benny, who had previously performed on her shows. The episode starring Jack Benny also included an appearance by Jackie Gleason as Ralph Cramden from The Honeymooners. Another episode included a reunion of Lucille Ball and Ginger Rogers, who had starred together in the 1937 musical Stage Door. The dance performance they did together on Here's Lucy was a heartfelt tribute to fans of both performers. While Here's Lucy featured several well-known guest actors, it also had a unique crossover with Desi Productions' Mannix. The character Mannix appeared in one episode, allowing viewers to watch Lucille Ball tied up next to the fictitious detective she helped bring to life. Lucille came up with the crossover idea after Mannix's first season had low ratings. Aside from prominent performers and characters, Here's Lucy was remarkable for starring Lucille Ball's real-life children with Desi Arnaz. Lucille Arnaz and Desi Arnaz Jr. were Lucille's characters' children on the show, and they relished the opportunity to appear with their mother. A spin-off starring Lucille Arnaz was even in the works as the program approached its end, with one of Here's Lucy's last episodes serving as a failed pilot. Not only did Lucille's children appear on Here's Lucy, but so did other family members. Vivian Vance, who had grown renowned alongside Lucille on I Love Lucy, had several guest appearances on the show as well. Vivian's visits on Here's Lucy were emotional reunions for both the actresses and the television viewers. Vivian's visits were tinged with melancholy, as she was supposed to be a regular on the show before being diagnosed with breast cancer. Vivian's final appearance on Here's Lucy was the last time she and Lucille collaborated on a television sitcom. They did, however, return in 1977 for a television special titled Lucy Calls the President. While devoted Lucille Ball fans were disappointed when the actress announced her retirement from weekly primetime television, she left a considerable body of work for them to examine. Although Lucille Ball was no longer a ratings magnet, her influence on television was unmistakable. I Love Lucy is a key show in television history remembered and adored by fresh generations of viewers. Lucille Ball's career, which was defined by her revolutionary work and enduring skill, is still appreciated today, guaranteeing her legacy as one of entertainment's most famous individuals. Behind the laughter of I Love Lucy was a complex web of egos, hurt feelings, and real human pain. But maybe that's why the show connected so deeply. It wasn't just scripted joy. It was messy, emotional, and real. Now it's your turn. Did I Love Lucy shape your childhood or change how you see television? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more true stories from classic Hollywood hit, subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a peek behind the curtain. Because behind every laugh, there's always a story.